everyone. A new year is just around the corner, so it's time to tackle the mess and get things organized and ready to go. So I'm going to give you some great tips to get your sewing room in order. So if you're anything like me, I have pre-cuts and fabric and projects kind of all over the place around my sewing studio, and so I thought I would give you some great tips to get this organized. So let's start with projects that are in the works. So that's what these piles are. So I'm going to move these out of the way for now. And we have these great project bags here at Missouri Star. They come in a set of 4, just like this. And I love these because they have this heavy-duty vinyl. You can see through them. It makes it really clear what you're working on. And so I love to use these to keep what I'm actually actively working on together. Keeps it all neat and tidy. I don't have a random piece that wanders off that I'm like, I know I cut all those squares. Where did it go? These work perfect for that. And you can see you can just tuck it all in there, zip it up, and you know it's all good to go. And they really hold a lot, and even these smaller ones are great either if you have smaller projects or if you just need to take, you know, little notions with you when you're traveling. Those are great options as well. So I can just pop some of this in here, just like so, and then all my pieces are ready to rock, and I love that. So we can move these aside for now, set these with them, and now let's talk about these pre-cuts. I'm super excited. We just launched these pre-cut organizers this year, and these little binders are designed with charm packs in mind, and so you can get these, and they even come with like a little hard board. So like if you lose the backer board of your charm pack, for example, because we all know that happens, if this is just lying around in your studio, you can use this backer board, slide it under. It's got this elastic to hold it all in place. So you can keep like fabric together, and then, you know, with fabric and pre-cuts especially, we end up with a lot of fabric dust, and so you can slip it inside these little sleeves, zip it up, and you don't have to worry about that getting all over the sewing room all the time. And you can just pop that in here and keep them all together. And you could also, you know, organize like fabrics together. So you could put all your solids, all your florals, kind of like our shops in town, keep them all separate that way, and you can label the edge of your binder with whatever you have inside. So then once you have that all closed up, you can label it and keep it organized on your shelf, and it's a great way to keep all those charm packs from just collecting dust and making a mess in the sewing room. And so with that same idea in mind, let me show you here what we have for the layer cakes. So it is kind of like a file folder, and it's the exact same concept with the backer board for you, and you can open this up and put your layer cake inside. The thing I particularly like about this size is if you bought the pre-cut with a pattern in mind, let's say, you can put that in there with it. And so you can keep it all together, and then if you come back, you know, a few months or years down the line, when you finally get around to that project, you remember what you bought it for and the pattern that you were planning to make with it. So that's a great option as well. And so then you can see I have a few others that I've done that with. And so it kind of keeps all of that ready to rock. And then we can just slip these back inside of our little project keeper here. If I can get them lined up. And just like on the binder, you can put a label to remind you what you've put inside, and you can always take that out and replace it as you go. So this is another great option for storing fat quarters. So if you have a lot of those lying around, like here I have a great Robert Kaufman fat quarter bundle, and they're actually folded the perfect way to fit in here. And so you can see they'll just slide right in, and you could fit as many next to it and then be able to zip them up, keep them nice and clean. Comes in 2 sizes. So you can see here's the smaller and the larger one. And the thing that I love about it is you might be tempted to just pull this big tag off of here, but it actually gives you the instructions on how to fold your fat quarters so that they fit in here perfectly. So be sure to look at that, and then they'll all line up neatly, and you'll have this great organized fat quarter bundles. So now let's move on to templates. So one of the magical things about quilting is we have lots of great templates and rulers, and sometimes, if you're like me, that drawer can become total chaos. So I'm super excited about these storage options. We have these new template holders, and I have a prototype, so it's not even complete. The final one will have a magnet right here to hold your pins and needles, and then it has a spot for threads that you use often. So here's my black and my invisible thread. I've got white on the machine now, and I can just keep the most used handy. And then of course these are the rulers that I use the most often. So things that I want to be able to get quickly, I put in here, and I can just keep on my desk or on the shelf behind me, and then I can grab them quickly and also see exactly what's what. Now for the pieces that I don't use as often, we have these great template binders. And so let's look at these. You can see I've already put some in here. The inserts that come inside are basically intended to fit all the varieties of sizes that we have. So we have some that are these larger slots, like you see here, and some that are just like a half sheet. If I can get that open. So you can see, I don't mind if it peeks out of the top a little bit on this one, and then this little guy could fit in there, or some of these squares could fit in there if I didn't want them out there. You can see how it's just really versatile. And then in the back, it's split into 4s, and that's for your little guys, right? So like my little square, or if you separate all of your applique templates, then the smaller ones could go in the back, and you can just keep them all together. And so you can see in here, I have loads of templates that I've started organizing. So here's my crazy quilt, my drunkard's path, my half hexie, and it just makes it really easy to spot instead of having this giant drawer of chaos. So I'm super excited about this, and then I can just tuck them onto the shelf behind me and be able to pull them out and reference them whenever I need, and it keeps them all neat and tidy. So up next, let's talk about patterns. So we always have a lot of patterns lying around. I know that I'm not alone in that regard, and so I just pulled a few, and we have these great pattern binders available, and you can buy extra refill packs of the inserts, but when you buy them, it comes with the binder, 10 of those insert sheets, and then 3 divider tabs to keep them organized in there. And so you can see, we'll just open these up, and they are designed to fit our Missouri Star patterns perfectly. And so those will just pop in there. If I can get it to cooperate, it'll just slide right in. There we go. You know, maybe you have a section all for baby quilts, all for table runners, all for stars. You can just kind of organize them and make it easier on yourself when you're looking for a pattern later to go and find that. So it's a great option to just slip those in there. And again, just like we did with our template binders, we can close this up and we can just stick it on the shelf and go back and reference it later. So easy peasy, and just another step in having an organized sewing room. So up next, let's talk about our finished quilts. So with our finished quilts, we either have a lot to store on our own, or we want to send them safely to our loved ones. And so we have these great quilt storage bags here at Missouri Star. They come in a variety of sizes depending on the size of your quilt, of course. And they are made of breathable, non-woven fabric. They have this little vinyl view panel so you can easily see what's inside. They also have a little slot where you can label and name your quilt so you know what's going to be inside. And then the zipper is non-snag. So all of those fun details to help protect all the hard work that we put into our project. And it's just super easy. We can fold it up and open our bag. And then zip it closed. This one is plenty of room for this little quilt that I'm storing in here. But then again, you can easily see what you have in there. I could add that label and I can stack these up on the shelf and make sure that it's going to protect the quilt for years to come. So super fun way to do that, and a great item to, you know, put a quilt in before you gift it to help keep it protected. Also, we talk about car quilts and things going with us all the time. It would be great to keep your quilt in one of these, even in your trunk, just so all the other junk that you have floating around doesn't get on it. If you're like me, my trunk is always a little bit of a mess. So this just keeps those quilts that go on adventures with us safe and stored properly, which is what we're looking for. So speaking of taking quilts on the go, let's talk a little bit about organizing our stuff for travel and going to retreats. I absolutely love going to quilt retreats, and I hope that you will take some time for yourself to have a few days where you can just sit and sew. And if somebody brings you, you know, your meals and cleans up after dinner, then that makes it even better. So I'm sending you all those good vibes that in the year ahead you get at least a few days of that. But when you go to a retreat, you need to take a lot of things with you. And so these are some items that I absolutely love to take to retreat, and I'm excited to show them for you, or to you. So up first, we have this little travel project case. And this is so great because you can insert whatever projects you're planning to work on at retreat. So here I've got a layer cake. It can slide in here. You can add your background fabric to that. All of your tools can just pop up here. So all your favorite gadgets are ready to go. I of course like to bring my favorite little trusty ruler. There's our seam ripper. Here's some needles. And we also, I don't know if you noticed, this new design wall that is hanging beside me. This is behind me. This is a travel design wall that we have now. And so it is flannel. So your blocks will stick to it when you're on the go. And so you can even fold this up and pop it inside of your travel case as well. And so it's great for on the go. It's also great if you have a wall in your sewing room and you want to have it up all the time. So either option, it's available for you. This is a new product to us that I think is so genius. So it's this carrying case for your travel cutting mat. So this is a little 12 by 18 cutting mat. You might already have one at home, but you can get this case that it fits perfectly inside. And then this can act as your pressing mat while you're on the go. So you can set it up with your little cutting mat here, and this you can use with your iron. It's not wool, but it will withstand the heat. It's been approved to use for pressing, so just keep that in mind. It's not wool, if you're wondering. There's even a great little carrying case for your Oliso irons, whether you want to bring the full size with you or the little mini. You have those options ready to rock and roll. And so you can take all these great things to retreat with you or to your friends to sew and just have everything handy and, you know, enjoy your time. So also I want to remind everybody, you don't need all these things if you don't have them, or maybe you have some other great organization tips. So if you do, be sure to share them with us in the comments, because I think all of us could use a little help keeping everything together. And hopefully this gives you just a little bit of inspiration as you head into the new year. I hope you have a wonderful new year, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching at home. We're so excited to be almost 1 million quilters strong here at Missouri Star. And so if you haven't already joined our family, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of all of our future tutorials, and we'll see you soon.